what comes first? Like the story, then you find the ingredients to work it back, or the ingredients?
Can be both, but I'd say the thing that links all of the different ways to get to the end goal is about imagining what it would be like to experience the end goal, right? So what if someone came to the restaurant and, fling a few of these out. What if someone came to the restaurant and they have two squares of jelly in front of them. One's orange and one's red. And we asked them to eat the beetroot one first. What if it was the other way round? What if you came to the restaurant and for one of the dishes you had to put a pair of headphones on and listen to the sound of the sea? How would that make people feel? And whether it's Fat Duck, Perfectionist Cafe, Hind's Head, The Crown, Dinner by Heston, Devonshire, how do we want people to feel and experience? How do we imagine we would like them to be when they come to whatever it is, whether it's here or a 3 Michelin star progressive restaurant like Fat Duck? And so your end thing is all about giving someone the sort of experience and joy. And in some cases, especially Fat Duck, it was for many people through being told. It's like going into Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, this imaginary world. Yeah, what if I ate this sweet and I did float up to the ceiling? Now, obviously, we didn't do that, but in the movie, that happens, right? Yeah. That is the joy and wonder of what you can give people an experience. And they will say, I heard it so many times, wow, I came in, I was quite nervous, but I was just so looking forward to it. And it was hard to get a table, so you'd book 2 months out, you would come for 5 hours to the restaurant, and then you'd have this, what we called emotional residue afterwards, recounting all of these things. And like how we have merch now in everything. We would have things for people to take away as part of their experience, as it would sit on the mantelpiece. The menus would be framed, the little box that you got given, the little sweet box, where all of these things became something that people then took away before Instagram and all of the social things. Took them away to help share the experience and the story that they've had, before social media kind of flattens all of that to some, gives you a look behind the curtain before you've actually been. Mm-hmm. So you've got 2 months prior, 5 hours there, and then you can really, the impact you make in that 5 hours just lives on as this kind of emotional experience. And that is, people say, well, I was there for 5 hours. It went like that. It was just magical.
I love the emotional residue thing. It's like what we were talking about before, that peak end rule. Like, you remember the end of an experience is more important than the middle and the beginning. And I think that's what I was saying to Osh. It's like, if you went to go and see Oasis and they didn't end with Wonderwall, you'd be pretty fucked off, right? Like, the end experience, the end song at a gig is really important because that's what you go home with. But how would you create that wonderment and magic? 'Cause magic is synonymous with what you guys did.
Restaurants and food is always evolving, right? Like, from 2001 to 2008 for me was Fat Duck golden years. That was, boundaries were broken in terms of what was happening on the plate to people and their experience emotionally. Obviously, it's a little bit different now. It's a bit more storytelling. It's a bit more journey led now. But we're talking about techniques and cooking practices that didn't exist that do now exist. Hester did the triple cooked chip, in the early 90s. It's done really badly in most places, which is really frustrating. And sometimes people get forgotten for the things that they have brought to the scene. You have this, I know, one idea might spark something completely different down here, and that trial and error, not being afraid to fail, which is so often not allowed, because this needs to be ready on the 20th, And if I give you an analogy to the coffee, right?
Yeah.
So we co-founded this coffee company. We were going to do multiple formats: whole bean espresso, whole bean filter, coffee bags, and we want to do the little pods, right? Now, no one teaches you how to do these little pods. So it's trial and error. And I told my partner, Grant, about what it is in the kitchen and how we operate the kitchen. Food's not right, does not go to the table. You're better off saying, look, we've had an issue, blah, blah, blah. We'll send you a couple of extra courses. It's a done thing. Make people feel that you're doing something great for them. It's not right. I'm not going to send it to you. But actually, taste this. Love you to see what you say. And then he said to me, right, nowhere along this process, no matter how much pressure you get from the financial side, probably him actually in most cases, if it's not ready, it's not ready. So it took me another year to develop the 6 blends into the little capsules, because that is a really dark art that no one teaches.
Why is it so? Yeah, like what's the dark art of getting the coffee into the Nespresso capsules? Espressos is sponsored by supply chain software gurus Unleashed. It talks to your e-com and accounting software. It's helped islands cut admin time in half, get granular clarity on your margins, know where your stock is, don't miss availability. Brands like Candy Kittens, Tiny Rebel and Trip all use Unleashed, and so should you.